Right now, your heart is beating. Your lungs are pulling in air. Your cells are doing about 37 trillion things at once just to keep you here. And the moment all of that stops, you don't die. Not all at once. Your body doesn't get the memo. It keeps going, fighting, changing. For hours after you're gone, something is still happening inside you. And what it does next is one of the strangest things in all of biology. For most of human history, death was simple. You stopped breathing. Your heart stopped. You were gone. Doctors in the 1700s confirmed death by holding a mirror to your lips. No fog, no pulse. Done. Some physicians carried special kits with them, needles to jab under the fingernail, ammonia to hold under the nose, not to revive anyone, just to make absolutely sure, because they kept getting it wrong. In 18th century Europe, the fear of being buried alive was so widespread that it had a name: taphophobia. Wealthy families paid for safety coffins. Coffins fitted with bells, with breathing tubes, with small windows. Some had a string tied to the corpse's finger that ran up through the soil to a bell above ground, just in case. Edgar Allan Poe wrote about it. Entire societies formed to prevent it, and it wasn't irrational fear. Catalepsy, a condition that mimics death so precisely it can fool a trained physician, was far more common than anyone admitted. The problem wasn't that people were careless. The problem was that nobody actually knew what death was. We still don't. Not completely. What we do know now is that death is not a moment. It's a cascade. It starts the second your heart stops pumping. Your brain, which burns through more energy than any other organ in your body, runs out of oxygen in about 10 seconds. That's when you lose consciousness. That's the moment most people picture as death. But your cells haven't heard yet. In the minutes that follow, something extraordinary happens inside your brain. In 2023, researchers at the University of Michigan recorded something in dying patients that stopped the entire neuroscience community. In the seconds after the heart stopped, certain patients showed a massive surge of brain activity, gamma waves, the same waves associated with heightened consciousness, with vivid dreaming, with moments of deep focus, spiking to levels higher than anything recorded in a normal waking brain. Not fading, surging. The researchers couldn't explain it. They still can't fully. But the question it raises is one that science has been quietly circling for decades. What exactly is happening in those final moments of brain activity? And is the person experiencing it aware of anything at all? Meanwhile, the rest of your body is doing something completely different. Your cells don't know you're dead. They're still running their programs, pulling in nutrients, producing energy, dividing. Without oxygen, your cells switch to a backup system, anaerobic metabolism. It's less efficient, burns through resources fast, and produces lactic acid as a byproduct. This is the same process that makes your muscles burn during exercise. Your dying body, in its final hours, is running the same chemistry as a sprint. It can't last. As cells run out of fuel, they begin to break down from the inside. Enzymes that were locked away inside cellular compartments, enzymes that normally only activate to digest food, are suddenly released, and they start digesting the cell itself. This is called autolysis. Self-digestion. Your body, in the absence of anything else to do, begins to consume itself, starting with the softest tissues, the liver, the intestines, the brain. And this is where it gets stranger. About 2 to 6 hours after death, something happens to your muscles. Every muscle in your body begins to lock. Rigor mortis. Most people have heard of it. Few people know what actually causes it. When your cells can no longer produce energy, a protein called myosin gets permanently stuck to another protein called actin. In a living muscle, these two proteins slide past each other in a controlled way to create movement. Without energy, they lock together permanently, like a zipper that can never be unzipped. Every muscle in your body seizes at once. Your jaw, your hands, your eyelids, even your heart, though it no longer matters. Your body becomes rigid within hours. And then, around 24 to 48 hours later, as the cells continue to break down, the muscles release again. Not because anything repaired itself, because the proteins themselves have decomposed enough to let go. Your body stiffens, then softens, and then something else takes over entirely. For most of human history, people thought decomposition was simply rot, decay, something happening to the body from the outside. It's not. It starts from within. The bacteria that have been living inside your gut, trillions of them, the same ones that helped you digest every meal you ever ate, don't die when you do. They're still there, still functioning. And with no immune system left to keep them contained, they begin to move. They migrate through the walls of your intestines, they spread into surrounding tissue, they consume you from the inside out, releasing gases, breaking down proteins, slowly dismantling everything that took 9 months to build and decades to maintain. Within days, the boundary between you and the soil begins to dissolve. Scientists studying human decomposition have found something remarkable. The bacteria released from a decomposing body dramatically enrich the surrounding soil. Plants grow faster. Insects colonize in waves, each species arriving at a precise stage of decomposition as if following a schedule written into their DNA. Forensic scientists can estimate the time of death from the species present alone, down to within hours. Your body doesn't just stop, it transforms. Every atom that built you, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in every cell, gets redistributed into soil, into plants, into the insects that carry it further, into the animals that eat those plants. Nothing disappears. In 2013, researchers at Vanderbilt University discovered something that reframed how scientists think about death entirely. They found that certain genes that had been completely inactive during life, switch on after death. Not a few, hundreds. Some of these genes are associated with immune response, some with embryonic development, genes that help build a human body from scratch, activating in a body that has already finished. Nobody expected that. Nobody had thought to look. The leading theory is that these genes activate in response to the stress signals flooding the body at the moment of death. The same signals that, in a living organism, would trigger repair and growth. The body, even as it dies, is still running its oldest programs. Still trying. Still trying. Here's what's strange about all of this. Tonight, you will go to sleep. Your heart rate will drop. Your breathing will slow. Your brain will cycle through states that, on a monitoring device, look not entirely unlike the early stages of what we just described. The line between deep sleep and early death, physiologically, is thinner than most people want to think about. Your body already knows how to do most of this. It practices versions of it every night. Cells die and are replaced by the millions while you sleep. Old proteins are broken down and rebuilt. Your brain clears waste products that accumulate during the day, flushing itself clean through a system that only activates in sleep. Every morning you wake up, you are measurably different from the person who closed their eyes the night before. Not metaphorically, physically. Some of the cells that were alive when you fell asleep are gone. New ones have taken their place. You have been dying slowly your entire life, and your body has been rebuilding itself just fast enough to stay ahead of it. We spend a lot of time trying not to think about death, building walls around the idea of it, keeping it abstract, far away. But your body has no such luxury. It has been managing the process of dying since the day you were born, running the numbers, replacing what breaks, containing what threatens to spread. And one day, the math won't work out. Not because something went wrong, because something extraordinarily complex finally ran as long as it possibly could. Every heartbeat you have ever had was borrowed time, and your body knew it. You just weren't paying attention.